Hi guys, this week we're going to be focusing on a series called Grammar Tales. And so since we're doing so much work with our writing and our stories, I thought it'd be a great series to read. So this is called Grammar Tales. It's all about quotation marks, which is those talking marks that you guys might have added to your story today. And this is called The Mystery of the Missing Socks. Hi, my name is Steve Scoop, and I'm a reporter for the Hoopleton Evening Herald. My job is to talk to people and write down what they say. I have 3 important tools: my notebook, my pencil, and quotation marks. This book is about quotation marks. Do you ever use them in your writing? And I know you guys are just learning how to do that. I've just received a hot tip. Mrs. McGillicuddy is missing a pair of polka-dotted socks. My boss wants me to write a story about it for the newspaper. Get the story! See, I've written down what my boss said in my notebook. I use quotation marks. Don't they look like they've captured the words? That's what quotation marks do. They're used to show exact words and that someone said. So you see, this says what the boss said. Get the story, said the boss. Oops, my boss just told me to stop writing down every word she said. Steve, I don't need you to write down every word I say. I had better get to work. My first stop is the scene of the crime, Mr. McGillicuddy's backyard. So it says, Hoopleton Evening Herald, ice cream shop. Mr. McGillicuddy tells me that around 9 a.m. he hung up his wash on the clotheslines to dry. When he went out to get it at 11:30 a.m., his favorite pair of polka-dotted socks had disappeared. My socks just disappeared! See, I've written down exactly what Mr. McGillicuddy said. I placed his comments inside quotation marks. I wonder if his neighbors noticed anything suspicious. I better go investigate. So see how he wrote it? So here's the quotation mark. My socks just disappeared. And there's the end of what he said Mr. McGillicuddy. Now I'm talking to Mrs. Slice. She's given me a really great tip. I bet my hat it was Harold. I want to remember Mrs. Slice's comment, so I write it down exactly like she said. I've got to find out more about this mysterious Harold. So she put the quotation mark. I bet my hat, said Miss Slice, that it was Harold. So you see how she actually put the said in the middle because he closed the quotation mark when he was done with that part of the sentence. Here's Mike Monty, the mail carrier. He knows the suspect all right, and he has some pretty alarming tips to say about him. Can you believe Harold chased me down the street, then helped himself to a bunch of letters? This is incredible. Boy, I write down every word. This Harold sounds like a real bully. So here we have the quotation mark. Can you believe Harold chased me down the street, then helped himself to a bunch of letters? So the end of the quotation mark. Asked Mike Monty. Now I'm talking to the girl named Jenny Jennings. She's 10 years old. Jenny says that just a few minutes ago she spotted Harold dashing towards the park. I just saw Harold running towards the park. Jenny gave me a really great lead, so I wrote it down. I'm hot on Harold's trail now. 10-year-old Jenny Jennings said, quotation mark, I just saw Harold running towards the park. Ooh. How do you think? Do you think it was Harold? What's your prediction? Uh-oh. What have we here? A pair of polka-dotted socks just lying here on the ground and right beside a dog. Let's see if I can make out the name of his tag. What do you think it is? Just as I suspected, Harold. Looks like I located the polka-dotted sock thief. Arf, arf! Naturally, I wrote down what Harold's statement. Looks like the case of Mr. McGillicuddy's missing socks is officially closed. Now I just have to write the story. Arf, arf, said Harold the dog. So here's what the paper looked like. Evening Herald, all the quotes that fit in the print. Missing socks mystery solved. Solved by Steve Scoop. Mr. Clyde McGillicuddy lost a pair of socks today. At approximately 9 a.m., he hung them out on the clothesline to dry. Then, when he went out at 11:30, they were vanished. Quotation. My socks just disappeared, exclaimed Mr. McGillicuddy. A neighbor, Miss Enid Slice, suggested likely sock snatcher. I bet my hat, she said, that it was Harold. Oop, more quotation marks. Mr. Mike Monty, the mail carrier, agreed, saying that Harold gave him trouble. Can you believe Harold chased me down the street and helped himself to a bunch of letters? Asked Mr. Monty. It was truly hard to believe. This reporter was determined to find the footwear fiend. Jenny Jennings, age 10, provided a helpful clue. I just saw Harold running towards the park, she reported. Upon arriving at the park, a pair of polka-dotted socks were lying on the ground. Nearby was a small dog. According to his tag, his name was Harold. Mystery solved. Asked what he had to say for himself, Harold replied, quotation mark, arf, arf. In late-breaking development, the socks had been returned to Mr. McGillicuddy. He promptly put them on and was very happy. So hopefully you guys had a fun way of just figuring out ways that you can use quotation marks. I'll see you later.